Hey everyone, how you doing? A very warm welcome to this latest video from myself, Ben, here at Lumenswap. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the latest incentive that Lumenswap are offering us as liquidity providers over the course of the next 2 months. You may be aware, Lumenswap have just launched their 10th milestone, and that is the Bridge Milestone. The Bridge consists of 3 different assets, wrapped assets on the Stellar network side. This is LBTC, LF and LSOL. To make the swapping facility easier on the Stellar side to bring more liquidity in, Lumenswap are incentivizing us to provide our assets as liquidity. Now, if you haven't already seen my videos on impermanent loss, I would go and watch those first and foremost. And before I get into this, I must tell you the usual spiel that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a passionate crypto student and educator. I just want to help you navigate the crypto space with the least amount of friction. Okay, so I do not hold any qualifications in finance. This video is for information purposes only. What you can see on the screen in front of you is the Lumenswap announcements channel. On the 8th of June, the Lumenswap top team announced that the 10th milestone, the Bridge, was live. And then on the 9th of June, the following day, you can see here that they have decided to launch an LSP, which is their native asset reward program that offers 2 million LSP for Bridge assets LBTC, LF and LSOL that I've already mentioned. This link, this medium link is, here's one I made earlier, this one here that I have opened up. Now 2 million LSP is a nice chunk of change, especially in these incredibly volatile market conditions that we're seeing at the moment. This bear market is pretty brutal, certainly over the last 4 or 5 days. Today is the 15th of June 22. Last 4 or 5 days have been a real tumble in prices, to say the least. So anything positive at this time is always a benefit for anyone that's involved in crypto and still has assets on the Stellar network. So I'm just going to read through this. It does say it's only 1 minute, so it's not going to take us very long. But there's some key piece of information that we need to understand with regard to this, this incentive period, that we can get it inside our head and we can decide whether it's something we want to do. Greetings Lumenswap community. As you know, we launched Lumenswap Bridge yesterday, which allows you to transfer assets from popular networks such as Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana to Stellar and vice versa. Currently support BTC, ETH and SOL assets, but we'll support more assets along the way to have better interactions. To bootstrap liquidity for wrapped assets by Bridge, we have decided to start a 2 million LSP reward program from 15th of June until August the 15th. That's a key piece of information for you there. And anyone who provides liquidity for the following pools will be eligible for receiving a reward. The 6 incentivized pools. The next key takeaway for you here, as you can see, 2, 2 and 2, each one of these is incentivized at the same amount. It's not a combination of all 6 divided up. Each one has the same reward over that 2-month period. You can see here the rewards will be distributed weekly, and the amount for each individual is proportional to the amount of their shares in the pool. Thank you for reading the article. That's it. So certainly just a minute read. Like I say, there's a couple of key takeaways. The time frame here and the rewarded pools. I think what we need to do is we need to really have a look at Lumenswap's pools and then have a little talk about how this could affect you. But we also need to have a look at the calendar and this 333,000 LSP for each one of these pools. So I'm going to click across. We'll have a look at a calendar. So we're on the 15th of June here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks and 5 days before we hit the 15th. So that's something for us to bear in mind. For all intensive purposes, for this video, we're going to work to 9 weeks. Okay, so we're going to say this is a 9-week incentivification program. Each one of those 9 weeks, there'll be a random snapshot taken in the week, and then the rewards will be paid on a weekly basis. I am yet to get clarification on the day that the rewards will be paid, but they will be paid out weekly. Using those numbers, so using 9 weeks and the 333,000 for each pool, all we need to do next is we need to go to a calculator and we need to put in 333,000 divided by 9. And that will give us how many LSP that is per week. So it's 37,000 LSP per week for each one of those pools. If you want me just to quickly show you, 37, 1, 2, 3, 37,000, you're looking at $540 in dollar value at time of recording. Of course, that can fluctuate within a couple of seconds of me recording this video. As long as you're aware of that, that's the key pieces of information that you need to obviously take on board. 37,000 LSP per week over that 8 weeks and 5-day period, or 9 weeks, yeah? Next up, let's have a look at the Lumenswap pools. So we come down to the automated market maker client, click onto that. We go to the pools and we will see here that if we click on TVL and we click on it again, it will go from low to high or high to low, whichever way round you want to go. Scrolling down, you can see the first of these incentivized pools. If we just go back to the document, you've got the different ones. If you want to double check which are the ones that are incentivized, please use the document, Lumenswap announcement channel, find that link to the medium, go across, no problem at all. You can do that very easily. Or you can just come across the Lumenswap's medium and you can hunt out this article, the Bridges LP Reward Program. The first one at the top we've just looked at is Lumenswap's wrapped BTC and USDC at $96,000.86 dollars. Yeah, so just over $96,500 US dollars. Total value locked. Total value locked just means the total value of all assets on both sides in that particular pairing. Moving on down, we've got the BTC and LSP pool, which is 26, which is the next biggest at 26,000. Moving down, we've got the Lumenswap's wrapped ETH and USDC at 6,069. And then we come down further still. Lumenswap's Sol, so Lumenswap's wrapped Sol and LSP is here at 3,000.23. Maybe I've missed some. There should be 6. Let's go down them. First one. That's not an incentivized one, yeah? You've got to just make sure that it's the right incentivized one. You can see here it's BTC and LSP. It's not BTC and XLM. We're coming down. So we've got the first one, BTC USDC, BTC LSP is the second one, Sol USDC, third, ETH USDC, fourth, ETH LSP 5th, and the 6th one there. So sorry, on the first time I didn't see those 2. They slipped away. We've got all 6 there. And we've got a range from 96,000 all the way down to the bottom one, which is 3,000, yeah. People think, oh, it's going to be a lot safer for me to have one stable coin and one volatile asset when you're going into these liquidity pools. Believe me, you couldn't be further from the truth. We've seen over the last 4 or 5 days the volatility, I think around about 30 to 40% has come out of the Bitcoin price. If you were in one of these pools, you're going to be suffering considerable impermanent loss. It really doesn't make a great deal of difference having a stable coin, because if that asset on the one side keeps tanking down, it's going to suck all of the value out of the stablecoin side anyway. Yeah, because as people are selling that asset so that it's increasing, yeah, so they're selling the one asset on the one side, so it's increasing in amount in the pool, the amount of dollars that are in that side or stablecoins are being sucked down. So you're going to get loads of worthless tokens and hardly any of the stable coins. So believe me, it doesn't really have a huge difference, okay, having one side as a stable coin. If you had both sides of a stable coin, of course, yeah, both sides of a stable coin, that's not going to fluctuate at all. But of course, the APR and returns that you would get on those kind of pools are a lot less. You are rewarded according to the risk that you're putting in, and it's similar here. You know, the lesser known asset, which is Solana, is currently having less TVL against the more known BTC and ETH. Yeah, so you can see the more people that have gone into the one pool, less people have gone into another one. Bear in mind, this is where you get the cogs ticking. You've got to understand each pool has the same reward. I am going to put some assets into this in a minute just to show you again, refresh your memory on how you actually add assets into a liquidity pool. But I want you to just focus here for a second. If we had, let's just talk hypothetically, if we had $960 in this pool here, that would give us 1%. Agreed? 960 is 1% of 96,000. So we would have 1%, meaning that we would, if we drop back onto our calculator, we would get 1% of this. If you're struggling on 1%, remove 2 noughts, you would get 370. 370 LSP a week for your risk of $960. Let's look further down, see how that would impact us. Just click off that. If we are putting the bottom one, yeah, so Sol and LSP, if we're putting our $960 into here, let's just for argument's sake say it's going to be around about 25%. Yeah, I'm not going to do the exact maths for you, but 25%. So you're going to get 25% of that amount. Yeah, so you're going to get, give or take, when we click onto the calculator, you're going to get give or take, say, you're going to get 9-ish, 25%. You're going to get 9-ish thousand for that same 370 in a weekly reward, 370 LSP, 9,000, same amount that you're putting into the pool. Do you see how the impact is different? Let's have a look on the swap. What would that be? You've got 370, so you've got $5.50 that you would pick up on the top pool because of the total value locked is a lot bigger. We're using 9,000. You got $131. So you get $131 based on your $9,000 in. Yeah, that's the return that you would be getting at like 25% of the total pool reward on 1 week. I don't think I showed, did I show you? I can't remember now. 37,540, I did. Yeah, $540 a week. So you'd be taking 25% of that total reward pot in the bottom pool. Both pools, or all 6 pools, have 333,000 shared over 8 weeks and 5 days. It's up to you to look at the total value locked and see where your risk is. If you're wanting to go into the Bitcoin USDC, by all means go into Bitcoin USDC. If you're wanting to say, well, hang on a second, I can take more of the lion's share in the smaller pool, then have a look at that. This one here, I could have $300. Let's actually put some in. Let's put some in. So what I'll do is, I can disconnect this one, I can connect this one, and then I can put my pools. Okay, so I don't have any pools here, so I want to do it nice as like a clean install. I want to do it as like a fresh thing so that you can understand it. And I just want to go here and press new pool. And I want to put into that bottom pool that we saw, which was the wrapped Sol, or Solana, yeah, from the Sol asset, and LSP from Lumenswap. I'm going to click onto that. I've got 6 of those in there, look, and that. And I want to put 6 in. And I think that this should give me around about 10%, you know, rough maths of Solana being around about $29 to $30, 28 to 30, somewhere in that region. I'm putting 6 in, should be about 180. And then you've got, obviously, the other side, the LSP. We'll see if we've got enough. But if I put in 6, let's see, 6. You see it's come up a little bit too many. So what we'll do for this is we'll put in 5. Because we know we've obviously got the balance to cover both of those here. We're going to put in 5, and that's going to give us, in fact, if I put 5.5, which should give us around about 10%, 11,000. Yeah, okay, so we'll go 5.5, and then we're going to create this new liquidity pool position, Sol LSP, confirm, waiting for the signature, sign the transaction through our Freighter wallet or Rabbit, whichever one that you're using for the purpose of this. And then that should say that that's done. Give us a nice green tick. Perfect. Yeah, 343. So I'm going to click off that. If I click onto this, 945. I knew I'd be close to 10%. Yeah, close to 10%. But now I'm going to be getting close to 10% of that reward pool. Of course, I'm doing this video, so you're going to probably go, oh, I get it now. The reward pools are all the same for the 6 different pairs. You know, you can take, you know, and work out which ones of those are going to provide the best return. If I get 10%, I've got $343 in. 9.45% is going to be, what do we say, $540. Remember, everything's moving. I'm just working out the maths with you while you're listening. So with $540, if we just knock it down a little bit and do 10% of 500, we're on the right mark. That would be $50. So I'll be getting $50 per week on my, because it's 10%, yeah, on my $343 I put in, which is pretty damn good. It's more than, yeah, it's more than 10% return on investment. Yeah, more than, isn't it? Because if it's $50, that's 343. It's almost 15% in a week. If it's 15% in a week, and I think I'm right in saying this, let me do the calculation on my phone. So we're waiting, I'll just pause this. Okay, I'm back. So I just quickly worked that out in terms of all the percentages. And it is 15%, or just under 14.8% return if everything stayed equal in a week, which is 771% APR. That's pretty incredible, isn't it? Because you could take that and then you could recompound it back into the pool and compound it back into the pool, depending on what's happening with the overall market. I just think that getting 15%, I always like to think to myself, am I in a position to get a return? And I always use 10 weeks. Can I get my investment, my capital back in interest in the space of a 10-week period? Now, of course, if you're pulling 15% in a week, everything stayed equal, you could do that. And 15% for a $343 kind of outlay or risk is something that, again, that I would be willing to have a look at and willing to take, because I think that the assets that I've got there potentially can come way down, but also they could stabilize and also they could come up. So my position after 10 weeks could indeed be worth more than this, and then I could have took out, and even if that drops and the TVL goes a lot higher and it dropped down to, you know, 2-3% in that week period, and I'm getting 2-3% on my investment, I'm happy 2 to 3% in a week when I can't get that in my bank. Yeah, traditional, outside of obviously cryptocurrency, I can't get that in my bank in a year. I hope this has been useful to you, and I really wanted to stipulate here in this video the key takeaways. That is the time frame, the 8.5 weeks, the 333,000 LSP that are available for each of the 6 pools, dividing that down into 37,000 LSP per week, divided amongst the ownership that you have. You can see here, this is your share of the pool, 9.45, which directly equates to 9.45% of that 37,000 on a weekly basis. That was when the snapshot was taken. That's the key takeaways in this. And then it's up to you to look at the pools and to decide, when you come down onto these pools here, which are the ones that you feel that are best for you. Yeah, some people might not want to go SOL, and they might, might not want to pair it with LSP. Lastly, you need to be really mindful of the price differences for native assets on their chain and these assets that we've got here on the Stellar network. There's going to be huge differences in the valuation. We need people to provide liquidity like us, like what I've just done. But we also need people arbitrage trading those gaps so that they can be buying, lower on the one side and selling at a higher price on the other, and swapping those assets from one place to another. And because all of that all of the time is helping the Stellar version of that native asset to be more pegged at the correct price point. I would advise that you bring native assets into Stellar through this bridge rather than trying to buy with your XLM, USDC, LSP or anything else. I would go and use one of the existing bridges or go through a centralized exchange and take your USDC or XLM out, go into the centralized exchange, swap the asset, come onto the network where you have got your SOL, for example. And then what you can do is you could then buy your SOL, or you could buy it in the centralized exchange. It doesn't really matter whichever way you want to go around it, whether you want to use a DEX or a centralized exchange. Buy your SOL, bridge your SOL in, then pair it. If you try and buy the SOL here, there is not enough liquidity at this current time for you to be getting a tight price. Just be mindful of that. If you haven't already watched my videos, I touch on that when I talk about the bridge, those videos from last week. They're on my Boring Crypto channel. Any questions, as always, well, I hope it's been useful. Any questions, as always, please put them underneath. Share this content with other people, because I think it's important when we're really pressurized in these market conditions to notice where we can be getting these kind of returns. This might just be the fact that these returns are for 1 week, 2, 3, 4 of the 8.5 weeks. It might just be the first month that you get these kind of returns. And if so, okay, great, brilliant. You can get 60% at these rates that I've shown you in that time frame. 60% return on investment in that time frame in these market conditions is something I think you need to seriously look at. But of course, and lastly, you must be aware of the risk. Don't just say 15% and your eyes start seeing dollar signs. You've got to be really dialed in with the risk and the impermanent loss of each one of these different pools, as none of them are stablecoin pools. They're all got volatile assets and they can all fluctuate up and down in seconds and minutes, not just in days and weeks. All the best. It's been great speaking to you. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to joining you soon. Take care. All the best. Cheers.